Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing representing the squad. And today I'm going to showcase you guys my take on Infernoid Lair of Darkness. A lot of people have been requesting Lair of Darkness content from me for a while. I got my hands on some structure decks. I just didn't want to pay for them, I ain't gonna lie. So I had to use store credit to get them. Slowly but surely, got the stuff. So I'm doing this, and then I want to showcase you Dark Lord, Lair of Darkness. It's going to be really, really cool, but I want to get this one out the way first. So pretty much the grand concept of playing the Lair of Darkness cards in Infernoids is just to have the ability to tribute your opponent's monsters for the quick spell speed 2 effects of the Infernoids that they all have built into them to, you know, banish or negate, which is really impressive that you have board control early in the game and mid-game and late game. Like, you have board control the entire duration of the duel, which is pretty impressive that even your little guys can put in a lot of work. Like, they can pop a card and then tribute a monster and, you know, banish a card from the grave. Like, they just, there's a lot of things you can do with this deck. It's pretty powerful. So without further ado, let's hop right into the main deck. So starting off with your big beefy Darkest Diablos. This card, I read him and I was like, dang, low-key, you know, even though Masterpiece is about to be banned, he wasn't about to put them hands on him. Like, he was not, Masterpiece was not about to whip this card. Even if they try to say in the comments, oh, well, you can Apocalypse and half this tag, like, we didn't know that. You can summon him right back from the grave anyway. It's like, it doesn't matter. This card is just, that's a grown man card right there. He's beast. And then we have 3 Arima, I think his name is, Arima. But yeah, I like him a lot. I'm going to play him in my Dark Lords too, because you could use this card to search Dark Lord Ichel in all the Dark Lords practically. You just got to tribute something other than itself. And also, he's draw power too. Like, he's just a standalone card. He searches and he draws and then searches again. And then he has awesome stats. Like, he's 17. He's a great staple. And since I don't want to play Terraformings, because I just don't want to play Terraformings, I'd rather play this card. And then we have 3 Lilith, the Lady of Lament, to get your Void Feast. Or if you really want to be a dick and they, like, don't want to give you Void Feast, because, like, if you look at this and then Void Feast, you think, which one is worse sometimes? And then, like, it just depends, and if they choose to give you this, it's better because you can still search Void Feast with your other cards in your deck, which is really cool. So then you can set up with Feast and the Grinning Grave, which is amazing. And so that's it for your Lair of Darkness monsters. Then for your Infernoids, we do play 2 Daddy and 2 Mama, because this deck is really not that competitive without these cards. And then we do play their son, their oldest son, Decatron. It's just, this card is just unfair. It could be banned if people played Infernoids. Like, let's say, for example, 30% of the playing field at least was Infernoids. They'd probably hit Decatron on the list, because Infernoids are really good because of this card. Then we have 2 Patruria, MST on legs, and level 4, and 1800 body. And then we have 2 Harmadic. We used to call him Hard Dick, pipe it up, but we just don't want to offend anybody on the YouTube channel. So Harmadic's impressive. He breaks boards because if you pair him with your Void Seer, you're going to pop the monster, they're going to chain negate, you chain this, make him unaffected, or you can literally summon him first, play this, make him unaffected, and then use him to pop something, and then they can't negate it. It's just really cool. Like, especially if there's, like, a Jackal King, and you play Void Seer on this, put the spell counters on him, and then laugh at him because, like, he can't negate it anyways. It's just really, really good. And then we do play Antra because you can bounce, like, anything. Bounce your Kaiju's back. You can, you know, bounce their monsters, like, anything that you feel like, oh, I don't want that to hit the grave, or it can't be destroyed. Antra's there for you. And then also for Decatron to dump it to make itself a level 3. You need certain numbers on the levels, because Decatron turning himself into a certain level at a certain time is going to be game-changing for you. Like, especially to make him level 3, to go into your Levier play and just overextend your combo so that you can kill them and, you know, just make a beefier board. And then we do play the 1 of Noids. We play 1 Atando, 1 Satamis, and 1 Jet. This is for the Void Feast, but he does hit the extra deck. This card is non-targeting, non-destroying removal. This card's just absurd. It's really strong. And then also there's an interaction where you summon Deviati and you basically destroy all the back row. Then you normal summon Decatron. Normal summon for turn. Dump a Tondo. Decatron becomes a level 9. You overlay for True King of all Chlamydia and win the duel after that. And then if they somehow like, you know, pull a miracle off and get rid of Calamities, they have to keep in mind that you have a grave loaded with Noids and you're still going to kill them. Then for your spells, we play 3 Lair of Darkness. You play 3 of this because you want to see it, and then you play 3 more copies of it instead of playing Terraformings. I don't want to play Terraformings and the Arima because that's just overkill. While this is a good card, the deck is not 1000% dedicated and committed to making this. You're still playing an Infernoid deck, so while this is an alternative, not even win condition, an alternative play to make, it's not so mandatory that you contribute more than, you know, those 6 cards in your deck to this. It's just, you know, it's there. Then we have 3 Void Vanishment. This card's just stupid. Like, bro. As long as this doesn't get Ghost Ogre, like, you're going to generate so much advantage off of it. And then it can banish monsters, which is really important. Like, that comes up a lot more than you think. Void Imagination is a blowout. You go in second. You like, this deck can go first or second. It could bust boards wide open, like, going second. Like, I mean, when I say bust boards wide open, I mean just bust it wide open. Like, it's broken and it's not getting pieced back together. This card's insane. And because it has this weird restriction where, like, everything is halved and all that, like, that I feel like is what makes it so much more fair and balanced. Because while you can spam your Noids all you want because they become level 1s, it puts you under that restriction where all their battle damage is halved. So it makes it more fair, you feel me? Because imagine if you could summon them all and just attack for game, just like a Deviati and a Nunchu and like an Atondo. That'd be more than enough. So, like, I like that they made this card a little bit more balanced, but it's still just retarded. And then I do play 3 Future Fusions. The ones that I have are not the Errata's one, but I had to learn and memorize the new Errata. This card is still insane because it's a pressure card, and you just play it turn 1, and then you dump your targets on the first standby, and then on the second standby, that's when you fusion. But there's not gonna be a second standby. After the first standby, after the activation of this card, when you dump your whole deck of Noids, you're gonna kill them that same turn. And then we have 1 Void Seer. We have 1 Pot of Desires. Isn't this so weird that we're playing it as a 1-of? And then 1 for 1. Like, this is kind of weird, but I just do it because, like, I hate Pot of Desires in this deck so much, and I'll tell you exactly why. I can't afford to banish this. I can't afford to banish 2 of these, and I can't afford to banish not even 1. I can't even banish 1 Deviati, 1 Anungchu. I can't afford to banish 2 Dektrons, and I can't afford to banish this. Come on now, if you play Infernoids, you know how it feels to banish any of these, and then you're like, well, I know what I can't do anymore. I can't do this, and I can't do that, and that's kind of sad, just to draw 2. So I play it as a 1-of because I know that by the time that I see it, if I do see it at all, it'll be after I've got the mom and dad out of my deck. So it's like, it's there. You feel me? You can cut it, but I was like, you know what? I still want to play the card, but I just don't want to see it before I get my stuff out of my deck. And then we play 3 Void Feast. It's a win condition. And it's not once per turn, by the way. Like, it's not a hard once per turn at all. Like, you flip 1, bust the board wide open, flip the second one on in phase, going for the kill. And then 1 Grinning Grave Irish, because this card should definitely be, like, emergency banned. That's just how I feel about the card. I looked at it and I read it and I was like, oh, wow. Wow. Like, dude, if Dracos weren't hammered yet, like, you'd kill their whole deck. Like, they'd have to be, like, Disciples? Nah, I ain't getting banished that, bro. Not today. Like, you just wait for them to use the effect. Because you can do the Anungchu, the one that destroys the monsters, he negates the spell, trap, or the effect. So, like, you hit them with this, and then destroy all their monsters in their deck, even the Mono Iwatos, and they're like, I tried to activate Disciples. Activation's fine. Effect, that's a hard once return. Negate that and banish that. You're losing. It's a good card. This is just so unfair. And then, like, when you make their monsters dark with the Lair and then tribute it, that's the funniest thing ever. The extra deck is Tierra, win condition, 3 NTs. So because this is such a high level, there's an issue when you summon this and then you dump all your noise. Unless Imagination is on the field, making this a level 1, you're gonna have to pop this. And sometimes I don't like doing that because I love this card, but at the same time, you have to do it if you want to go for game. Once you resolve this, it's not wise to give your opponent another turn. Like, you want to get it all, like, you want to get the job done right then and there. Once this resolves, if they don't Ash Blossom, then the T's, like, it's done. Like, the game is over. So what you want to do is you want to use 2 to pop, you know, their cards, and then save 1 of the Natis to pop this, unless you have Void Imagination. At that point, like, you know, if you have, like, a second Void Imagination, you use 1, send it to the grave, summon this, play the second one just to make the levels 1, then you're good. You keep this in the extra monster zone. Then I play the nightmare cards because believe it or not, they're really easy to make. Once you resolve like Feast or Imagination, like if you somehow don't get to kill your opponent, you can make this board and you can make a Calamities, True King of all Calamities right next to it. And they have no levels, so if you don't make the Calamities, you can still summon Noids. But I like to make the Calamities just to be a dick. Then we have Borload. We have Doolittle Chimera because he's aggressive. He helps you out a lot and he adds back your resources. Then we have True King of all Chlamydia. We have Levier for the combo. We have Cypher and Little Mega because you can make it and it's an Ateez target. And when you make it, it's good because you can start adding your stuff back to your grave where it needs to be. And then this proxy right here is Dark Strike Fighter. I like Dark Strike Fighter a lot because, you know, it complements the Lair of Darkness very, very well. It's just to be a dick. Like, you don't need to play it in Infernoids, but Degatron is a tuner and you can Secret Summon. So I was like, why not, dude? Let's just play Dark Strike Fighter. But yeah, you guys, that concludes my deck profile. In my opinion, I still like Pure Infernoid better. I think it's much more consistent. It doesn't, like, you know, have those weird bricky hands. Because the Lair of Darkness, believe it or not, it breaks. Like, when you have Lair of Darkness, but you don't have, you know, like, the Feast play for some reason, like, it's kind of bad. But then, like, when you have the Feast play and you have too many Lair of Darknesses, or if you open up with, like, Diabolos, and then Arima, and then a Lair of Darkness, and then a Void Feast, and a Deviati. Like, that hand is horrible. And then you look at it and you're like, Arima, Diablos, and Lair of Darkness, all three of those are dead cards. Like, it's just, it can break, but when it goes off, it's just so one-sided. And when I say one-sided, I say that, like, full-heartedly. When it goes off, this deck is so one-sided and not fair. Like, going first or second. It just has to get the right hand. If this deck doesn't break and you don't, like, say this deck doesn't break and you don't have an Ash Blossom, you're going to lose. Like, you really are. You're going to lose hard, too. And then, like, if you have an Ash Blossom and they have a Degatron, you're definitely, like, just scoop it up, bro. But, yeah, that concludes the deck profile, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. God bless you. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Stay tuned for future content because I got a lot more coming for you. I'm going to go to sleep when you wake up. Peace, yo.